Hey, what's good, kind people? Lee Sanders here, you're checking out all new, the RCWR show, covering the latest in wrestling entertainment and beyond. Since 2011, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. What's going on? We are just freshly a few minutes removed from WWE RAW. An okay episode this week, I gotta say. Couple of areas where, okay, already, we need to go ahead and we need to speed this up a little bit. We need to tighten this up a little bit. We'll dive into all of that in just a hot minute. But I do have a poll asking you guys, what did you think about tonight's Raw? We got the poll up on YouTube, also on Twitter as well. Twitter, at the RCWR show. You can give me a follow on there while you're at it. So we had picked up a couple of new followers, some nice acquaintances. Happy to have the mutual following going on there on Twitter and everything. But I do love staying interactive and staying in touch with particularly new followers and all that. So welcome. But we got the poll up on Twitter asking you guys, what did you think about Raw? We also got the poll asking you guys on YouTube. Now, if you don't have Twitter, do the next best thing. You got YouTube. So youtube.com/the RCWR show, and click on the communities tab and cast your vote that way. Got a nice solid show planned for you guys tonight, man. So we're definitely going to be talking about Raw. We're also going to be talking just a little bit of wrestling headlines. Not really too much has gone down since last we were on the air, because you guys got to remember with what we did last week, just to kind of recap for those of you that maybe were away for a hot minute. We did do a Monday show, and then we came back and we dropped I want to say it was a late Thursday night going into Friday morning episode of RCWR show that was dropped. And then there was the SummerSlam post show that was done. I still have to mix down the NXT TakeOver joint for our Patreon audience. So in between all of those shows, not really too much has gone down since last we were on the air. So I don't think this is going to be a 2-hour show is the point I'm trying to make. So you guys got some questions, wrestling or non-related questions you want to shoot my way, you can definitely post those and everything. So look, as we saw, Retribution closed out tonight's Monday Night Raw, and I just have to honestly ask you guys straight up a burning question that is on my mind. It was actually on my mind as of SummerSlam. And I think you guys know exactly where I'm going with this. Okay, so Retribution, let me see if I got this straight. Retribution was too good to infiltrate and make their presence felt at the SummerSlam event. Remember, this was dubbed, you didn't see it coming. You don't see it coming. That's how they kept dubbing it. They were too good to appear on SummerSlam, but they were good enough to appear on tonight's Monday Night Raw. You just kind of see how nerve-wracking that is to a certain degree. Now, before anybody, look, I'm not saying particularly, hey, let's have these people that's part of Retribution reveal themselves already. That's not the direction I'm going. Just follow the current story arc right now. Even you hardcore WWE fans and you don't like hearing anything negative about your beloved WWE, it's not me being negative, it's just me offering constructive feedback. That's the big difference here. Just marinate on this for a little bit. Again, Retribution, too good to make their presence felt at SummerSlam, but good enough to infiltrate and disrupt Monday Night Raw, particularly at the end of the night there, as we saw the main event match between Dominic, Rey Mysterio, teaming up, taking on Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins. They were good enough to pretty much interfere in that. Now let me string this along together a little bit more for you guys so you all can really feel me on this. We go to this past Friday's SmackDown. Vince McMahon, welcome to the Thunderdome, right? And yet he crossed paths with the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And ultimately, we see how that had pretty much panned out, as eventually he crossed paths, like he being The Fiend cross paths with Braun Strowman. So we kind of see how all of that panned out in itself and everything. You kind of see where I'm going with this. So Vince McMahon is in storyline. Vince McMahon is seeing everything that's going on with this Retribution. How they're disrupting the shows. Interrupting, fucking up production equipment. Interrupting the feeds, satellite feeds and all that. Destroying his property. Costing him a decent amount of money and everything like that. And yet in storyline, when the one time we see an authority figure surface, and if ever there was a time to jump out there and say, oh man, somebody of the authority figure, they're probably going to be commenting a bit on this whole Retribution situation. Maybe they're going to extend to them a little bit of a olive branch to air their grievances, XYZ. We don't get none of that, folks. We don't get none of that whatsoever. Weird how it goes down, isn't it? It's very, very weird how it goes down. So that's why I'm just at a point right now. Y'all feel where I'm coming from now? I mean, those are the most alarming examples that's really coming about right now. I mean, hell, we can kind of go a little bit of a step further if you guys want. For as long as Retribution has been running around doing its thing and everything, let's not also forget we had the Adam Cole, Pat McAfee situation that was going on. We can, we see how Triple H and other WWE officials, they're getting all involved in that. They can pretty much, okay, let's make a match happen out of this as a result of the heated exchange these two continue to have. We can see how all of that pretty much pans out. But when it counts the most and it comes to Retribution, as far as Stephanie in storyline, as far as Triple H in storyline, as far as Vince McMahon in storyline, even as far as Shane O'Mac in storyline, mum is the word. I mean, what's going on with them when Retribution has been doing what they've been doing over the course of the past several weeks? Is their fucking satellite down wherever they respectfully are? Are they disengaged from WWE programming for that week? What's going on? Why are they not acknowledging this? That is a huge glaring problem with this Retribution story arc right now. If you guys are experiencing any streaming issues, by the way, let me know, because I'm seeing where everybody is watching the stream from. I'm not seeing anything weird going on at my end, but if you guys are noticing any type of, I don't know, it could be lagging or whatnot, let me know, and maybe I can do a little something off the fly. But those are legit interesting questions that I posed out there, and I would love for even the most hardcore, diehard WWE fan, I would love for that respective fan to try to justify this poor, what's that word I'm looking for? This poor execution of this particular story arc with all of these holes in it. I would love for a hardcore fan to try to defend this and convince me that no, it's going exactly as according to plan. There's no problems. Well, you see, have at it. But those are some glaring problems that's going on right there. They got to clean this up. And honestly, at this point, one of the ways that it needs to be cleaned up, you need to have, I don't care if it's Vinny Mac, I don't care if it's Shane, I don't care if it's Stephanie, I don't care if it's Hunter. You got to have somebody have the balls to say, okay, you know what? This thing with Retribution, this has been going on for far too long. This crap has been going on with Retribution, and it needs to end now. So, as a way of creating a bridge of dialogue with Retribution to find out exactly what's up. Why are they continuing to do what they do? Obviously, their name speaks for itself, but what is it that they are seeking Retribution about? We need to see someone of the authority, basically, give that olive branch to Retribution to find out what's up. I think only then will things really crank up a notch with regards to the story arc, and we can kind of start cleaning things up a little bit Because right now it's just, okay, all right, here these guys once again. Love to know what you guys think about the whole situation. Now, it makes you wonder because up to now, if there's no member of the authority figure that has made their presence felt and has tried to challenge the Retribution stable, then the only other impression that you can kind of walk away with is, well, maybe somebody of the authority is running this whole thing, and maybe that's why other members of Retribution maybe are not, because they know what's going on and silently they kind of sound off on this. They gave their head of approval, their nod of approval for this. They got to clean it up. However, they got to clean it up. They just got to clean it up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But decent tag match there that went down between the Mysterios taking on Buddy Murphy. Seth Rollins, didn't quite live up to what we had got of Dominic and Rollins from the SummerSlam pay-per-view just less than 24 hours ago. By the way, I do appreciate you guys that went out of your way and checked out the SummerSlam pay-per-view post-show. If you missed it, the webcast version of that show, it is available on demand and on the downloads wherever you listen to podcasts. So if you get done with this episode, you owe it to yourselves, go out of your way and scoop it up, my pretty baby. Scoop it up. Meanwhile, Keith Lee had a very impressive WWE RAW debut. I gotta say, it was a very impressive RAW debut. Was proud for the man. Was very, very proud for the man. And I gotta tell you, if I can be totally honest with you all, and I'm glad that more time pretty much went past, and now I'm in the position that I'm in right now. But I gotta tell you, when I watched what I watched go down from NXT TakeOver during the weekend, and I see that Keith Lee loses the championship, I remember being pissed off. I'll be honest with you. I was pissed off. And I was watching it with my girl, and she said, that didn't sit well with you, did it? I said, fuck no, it didn't. Fuck no, it didn't. And I immediately, the first thing I did after I see Keith Lee lose the title, the first thing I did, I researched, when did he win this title? And he basically held that NXT championship for, my God, he held it for like a month and a half, basically. And so within a month and a half, this guy essentially loses 2 titles. Like, what the fuck? Are we doing some RVD shit? Is something going on I don't know about with Keith Lee? What the fuck? I gotta tell you, I was pissed. But then, and that was immediately after the pay-per-view was over, and I was extremely pissed. But then I said to myself, okay, how do we make sense out of this? What is the justification of Keith Lee essentially losing both titles here? Is he really gonna just chase after Karrion Kross for it now? What exactly are we doing right here? And the only other thing that made sense to me was, well, maybe, just maybe, he has made such an impression on Vince, Bruce Pritchard and them that, yeah, we need to see that guy on the main roster. Let's make it happen. And if you had checked out the SummerSlam post-show, I remember we did talk about the fact that during the pay-per-view, they had revealed that Keith Lee was going to be making his Raw debut. And so, we kind of dealt with that news in real time as we have found out and everything. And if you guys recall, in the SummerSlam post-show, I said, hey, this is awesome. Okay, now it kind of makes sense why Keith Lee lost the way he lost in such a timely manner. Okay, now it's justified. Let's see what happens with the guy, was my whole next deal. And again, going back to the SummerSlam post-show, one of the opponents that came out of my mouth, if not the very first one, I said, hey, as far as who he could get a really good rub-off from, I said Randy Orton. So to see Keith Lee make his debut and make it against a talking segment here where Randy Orton is just up to here with Drew McIntyre, Yeah, let's kind of set that up properly for you guys. I know I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit back and forth, and it's not a full-blown Raw recap, just the key points that really jumped out at me and everything. But Drew McIntyre pretty much opened up Raw, talked about, and it was clever on WWE's part to have Drew McIntyre reminisce about Randy Orton having that greatest wrestling match ever against Edge, of which Orton won, but yet less than 24 hours ago at SummerSlam, it was Drew McIntyre that defeated Randy Orton, and he didn't just defeat him any old way. He defeated him with a straight out of the textbook 101 wrestling move. And so now okay, greatest wrestling match ever, and yet you get beat by a wrestling move. Like, what the hell? But Drew was real quick to point out, man, I know you're seething in the back there somewhere. Got no problem giving you a rematch, because honestly, what I really like to do is kick your damn head off with the Claymore kick. So you hear that, and you're automatically saying to yourselves, all right, so, especially if you checked out the SummerSlam post show, you're saying, okay, so maybe Lee's on to something here. Maybe, in fact, it is going to be Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, locking it up for the title yet again here. Okay, maybe it's going to go down. But just as quick as all of that panned out, we see Randy Orton pretty much attack Drew McIntyre from behind. They continue the action backstage, gorilla position. I know it's probably going to make Botchamania. I definitely was real quick to point it out on YouTube. I actually shared the clip of that particular segment, but clear as day, you see this punt kick that Randy Orton does. And I appreciate the people in the back there with production. They try to do their best to clean that up. But clear as fucking day, when Randy Orton does the punt kick to Drew McIntyre, he misses. Purposely, of course. He really wasn't trying to kick him in the head. I mean, come on. Really wasn't trying to kick him in the head. But clear as day, you can see nowhere near fucking connected. I know that's probably going to appear on Matthew's Botchamania. I'm waiting for it. I would imagine he's going to do a triple effect and showing that off and everything. But later on in the night, we saw Randy Orton talking a hot game and everything. He came out, had a talking segment basically saying, hey, the reason why Drew McIntyre is giving me a title shot here, he's just giving me what's the right terminology he used? I think the terminology he used was, you're doing this out of pity. It's like, and I don't need your goddamn pity. Keith Lee interrupts Randy Orton. And, it gave me, and I'm very curious to see where my colleagues and fellow friends in the podcasting world are with this, but just 2 cents from a distance, it reminded me, Keith Lee just interfering in all right. You know what it reminded me of? It so reminded me of the Attitude Era, more specifically when Chris Jericho officially made his WWE RAW debut, and The Rock was there in the middle of the ring. He's cutting one of his trademark promos. The fucking countdown to the new millennium clock. We had been seeing it for months and everything. Great story, by the way, from Jericho about how that whole clock thing came about. For you younger wrestling fans that don't know anything about how that whole thing came to be with the clock countdown, Jericho making the debut, you owe it to yourself, especially if you got the WWE Network. Go out of your way when you get a chance and just brush up on that. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a really fun, cool, kick-ass story. But that's what it reminded me of. Keith Lee making his debut tonight. Shades of that. Shades of that, only not as comical. It's so funny, too, because those of us that lived in real time, when we go back and, we think, yeah, I remember the first run, seeing it actually live when Jericho made his debut, we're looking and we're marveling in it. We're just, oh, this is badass. This is cool on so many fucking levels. But then as you get older and time goes by, you just kind of realize how comical it was, especially from Jericho's standpoint, because Jericho was really coming off like a fucking cartoon character from, gee whiz, I don't know. He was coming off like something from just with the facial expressions he was making, you kind of felt like you were maybe watching an episode of Popeye the Sailor Man or some shit with just the faces. Only thing missing from him was just that was the only thing that was missing from him. But you know, Keith Lee had a very impressive debut. I know a lot of people were talking about the theme song, talking about the fact that his theme song changed. I don't understand that myself personally. I really don't. What was wrong with the original theme song? If you wanted to abbreviate it a little bit, and I don't know, maybe if you just wanted to continue to loop the hook, bask in his glory, ha 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 ha, bask in his glory. You know, if you wanted to loop that part, I'm down with that. But they just did a total rework of his theme. Not really feeling that. Not really feeling that. But despite that, and we got a clean shaven Keith Lee as well. That was the other thing that was, whoa, we got a clean shaven Keith Lee. Just when I was so used to the beard and everything. I know a lot of people, you know, it depends on who you talk to. Some people prefer Keith Lee without the beard. Others prefer Keith Lee with the beard. But yeah, you know, pretty impressive. Held his own. Talking chops wise, he held his own against Randy Orton. Pretty much Keith Lee challenging Randy Orton to a one-on-one match. We would see that match later on in the night. We saw Drew McIntyre still fuming at what had went down earlier. I like that. I liked the fact that Keith Lee was protected right here. Because I don't know about you guys, but we can be honest. There has been a bad track record of seeing NXT talents that get promoted, elevated, whatever you want to call it, to the main roster. And we're so excited to see them on that main roster and everything. But then the next thing you know, watch out now. Next thing you know, it just goes down this slippery slope and there's just no coming back from it. So I'm looking at this match with Randy Orton, and forgive me if I said to myself, I'm sure you guys were as well, but forgive me if I said to myself, please, man, we don't need to see this guy lose in the ring. Come on now, let's build this guy up, continue to build him up real good here. There's no reason why out of the gate we need to just L's, just serving up the hot L's. There's no reason why we need to do that. So I like the way that Keith Lee was protected here by Drew McIntyre. Still pretty fumed from earlier. Him, Orton getting into it once again. Good shit right there. That was nice. Now, sadly, just when we thought it was over, that maybe, okay, Orton got the best, but Drew came right on back. We actually had saw I'm trying to think. We actually had saw fucking Drew McIntyre later on after that backstage, you know, sending some verbal shots to Orton's way. But the next thing you know, Orton comes right back, beats the crap out of him. Sadly, the way things end for the night, Drew McIntyre is loaded up on an ambulance. That's pretty much it. But Charlie Caruso caught up with Keith Lee and said, hey, me and Drew McIntyre, we go back and everything. I don't exactly appreciate him interfering in my match there against Orton, but he's my friend. I hope that he has a speedy recovery. But meantime, Randy Orton, me and him definitely are not done by a long shot. So this pretty much had set up, as we would find out before Raw ended, there's going to be a payback match between Keith Lee and Randy Orton. They will be going at it one-on-one. A couple of more other matches were announced as well. And bear with me a second here. I hate when I get silly questions. I got something I was noticing there, a comment from a previous video there. But yeah, so matter of fact, we can run down a couple of the other matches that got announced for Payback tonight. Again, in case you missed it, WWE, even though they did SummerSlam less than 24 hours ago, we're going to be heading towards another pay-per-view that's going to be dropping this weekend. WWE Payback. A lot of interesting developments going into Payback. We also have found out via WWE's social media account as breaking news that Roman Reigns will be facing The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and Braun Strowman in a triple threat match for that respected WWE title. Yes, it's going to be a triple threat match. By the way, I saw a lot of people were talking about Roman Reigns' teeth. Everybody was just going on and on and on about Roman Reigns' teeth. I saw a lot of jokes that were being made. A lot of people actually were jumping out there. I can't believe this actually had went down, but a lot of people were actually jumping out there and saying, I can't believe this man has the audacity to take all of that cameo money that was coming his way. And you know, he wants to talk about how he's trying to look out for himself and his family, blah this, blah that. How dare he get new teeth during quarantine? How dare Roman Reigns get new teeth during quarantine? We're in the middle of a pandemic. What's wrong with that man? How dare he? Shame on him. And I wish I was trolling you guys right now, but there were actually legit people that were upset over the fact that Roman Reigns decided he was going to get new teeth during a pandemic. And of course, you know, you got other people that were just, yeah, he's got new teeth. You know, oh, you know, how many, whatever, you know, whatever, how many blowjobs did he get so he could, you know, get the money together to get those teeth? I mean, you name it. Look, you ask me personally, I don't know, man. Maybe you can say I'm old man Lee now. You know, I mean, when I began this show back in 2011, I did kind of go for the fucking shock jock type of shit. I did try to, you know, go for the outrageous, what the hell just came out of his mouth, but that really wasn't kind of staying true to my character, so to speak. But I can tell you that as long as I've been doing this show, I don't know, maybe I've mellowed out over the years, but I have a unique, different take on this whole Roman Reigns getting new teeth situation. I don't mean to be long and drawn out with it, but mainly a lot of you guys, you come, you listen to this show, you check me out, you appreciate the clarity, you appreciate the honesty and the sincerity that I bring. So with that, my 2 cents from a distance with Roman Reigns. I compare this no different than what's been going on with my own journey with my teeth, as many of you longtime listeners are probably well aware of. For you newer listeners that came on board, just to kind of get you guys caught up to speed, for the longest time, my teeth, you know, and that's the thing. You guys that are going to be listening to the audio version, you really should be checking out the webcast version because you can see me in the flesh and see the things that I'm pointing out and everything. But for you guys that's checking out the webcast version, as you can see my teeth right now, and I'm just, you know, grinning for you guys here. You know, these are all my teeth. You know, none of these are fake whatsoever. My teeth were not like this a year ago. A year ago, my teeth were extremely spaced out. I'll be honest, I had buck teeth. I had severe spacing for my top, extreme spacing for my top teeth. Very bad spacing for the bottom teeth. My bottom teeth were, some of them, a lot of them were going in, you know, different directions, really spreading out and everything. And, you know, my girl knows this and she'll tell you, for the longest time, I wouldn't smile. Whenever I would make a joke or laugh, I was always covering my mouth and everything. And honestly, I would say it was probably the holidays of, let me see, because I began my treatment a year ago during the summer. So that would have been 2019. I would say fall of 2018, almost going into the holidays of 2018. My girl said to me at the time when we were trying to get into the initial talk of planning our wedding and everything, she said to me, hey, look, you know, have you ever thought about doing something with your teeth? And I said, oh, hands down, you know that. It's just, I can't afford it. And she said, look, I'm getting in real good where I work, because she works as a treatment planner. Now she's been promoted to a manager on duty, but they still want her to do the treatment planning at a dental office she works at. And she told me, she said, look, let me just give me a couple of more months. Let me break in really good with them. Let me fucking sell X amount of cases. I'm going to work my ass off. And I promise you, if I can have it my way, we're going to be able to get you Invisalign treatment, whole 9 yards. I'll be able to get it for a good discounted price. Your mouth is going to be banging before we get ready to do the wedding. I said, all right, bet. And sure enough, and she is, hey, I will definitely put my girl over any damn day of the week. She can fucking sell treatment plans with the best of them. Highest she's sold so far, cases wise, she sold about $60,000 case for a client. So she's good. She knows how to fucking talk. She knows how to fucking sell as a treatment planner. She knows how to fucking sell. So, once everything was in motion, she goes, okay, look, this is what's up. Are you in? You want to do it? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so for almost a year and a half, it would have been just a year, but with the pandemic, sadly, I was in my trays for an extended period of time. And as a result of me being in my trays for an extended period of time, my teeth over what's the right word I'm trying, they over aligned, and they overshift, and as a result of that, I had to get refinement trays. Now, knock on wood, I only got 3 more weeks to go in my refinement trays, and then that's it. I'm done. So what was originally only supposed to have been 35 trays, we pretty much had to add on 14 more trays when it was all said and done. But I have more confidence. I like what I see when I look in the mirror. I do an excellent job staying on top of my teeth. My girl will tell you, when it comes to me and my teeth, I'm brushing, I'm flossing, I'm doing the Listerine. I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking doing it. I'm doing it all. Past couple of times, I've had my 6-month routine cleaning, checkup and everything. They're like, man, barely picking up anything here. You're doing a great job with your mouth. Like, there's hardly any plaque here. You keep doing what you're doing. Not picking up any tartar whatsoever. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, all right, cool. So if Roman Reigns was in a position where, hey, you know what? I'm not really feeling what's going on with my mouth here. I kind of feel like I need to clean it up a little bit, then more power to him. As far as doing it in the middle of a pandemic, or how dare he, you'd be surprised how many people during a pandemic. Let me tell you something. Once I finally was able to get my refinement trays, and I went to the office to pick them up and everything, they were so goddamn booked. They were so fucking booked when all the dental offices and all that got the green light nationwide that they can pretty much go back to business and everything, just with certain precautions and everything. Man, out the ass. It was crazy. And I remember my girl, she said to me, look, we got to get you in ASAP. This is the first date that I have. If you don't take this date right now, I'm telling you, because I already looked it up, you ain't going to be seen for a month. We're already that booked. There are so many people that want to get their mouths hooked up. A lot of people were left in a cliffhanger position, all that other shit. So, I can't pass judgment on Roman Reigns. Neither should you, because if that was you in that position and you were trying to do something with your mouth or whatever, you would be trying to do whatever. So my whole thing is, who are we to judge? Seriously, who are we to judge? I am when it comes to Roman Reigns, trust me, or just anything in general, if there's something that I need to be on that ass about and I need to give constructive criticism, I'm on that ass any day of the week. But on the flip side to that, if there's also a case where, you know what, nah, that's kind of wrong, I'm actually in agreement with them and I'll tell you why, then I'll plead my case, as always. But for that, I just found that to be kind of silly that people were. And FYI, Not for nothing, not for nothing, but I will have you believe that Roman Reigns most likely still has all of his original teeth. And let me explain to you the reason why. I gotta ask my girl, and I meant to ask her right before she went to bed. And I know she's knocked out now because she had a long fucking day. I definitely will know the next time I do the show for you. But I remember me and her were talking about it several weeks ago, and it actually had to do with Denzel Washington. Stay with me for a little bit. The reason why I said 9 times out of 10, Roman Reigns probably still has all of his teeth. How many of you are familiar with the actor Denzel Washington? You should. Hopefully you grew up on the guy. Denzel Washington, true story. Denzel Washington, when he first began his acting career, he had a trademark gap. He had all of his teeth, but he had a gap. And then the next thing you know, all of a sudden, the gap wasn't there anymore. So it's like, what the hell? And so your first impression is, oh, okay, all right, well, he maybe he wore braces or whatever like that. I'll have to rely on you guys, but the movie that came out a couple of years ago where he played a lawyer and he had on glasses and he had a big ass afro and he had the gap. And you're going, something Esquire, and you're going, oh, wow, Denzel Washington has a gap. Like, what the hell? And that was actually somebody, I can't remember who it was that interviewed Denzel at the time, but they actually had brought up the fact that, hey, we see you with a gap in this movie. All the movies we've seen you in, you've never had a gap. And I forgot how he dodged the question or whatever. But my point is, and I remember when I was talking to my girl about it, I said, 1 minute he had a gap in this movie, and I'm thinking about the other movies, he's never had a gap. And she was like, oh, yeah, it sounds like, what he's got is attachments. And I don't know if she said veneers. It kind of seems like maybe that was around. You guys that work in the dental healthcare, you probably could shed a little bit more light on it. But basically what she said in a nutshell was, it's just something that he's able to clip on and off. He still has all of his teeth. He's just able to clip those on. So essentially, I have a feeling that what you saw of Roman Reigns in his mouth, 9 times out of 10, what you saw is clip-ons, basically, But they look good. They look good. I ain't hating. Hell, sooner or later, you're going to lose a couple of your teeth. And if you have poor hygiene and all that other shit, you're either going to be pushing dentures or, so you got to stay on top of that shit when it's all said and done. But hopefully you guys appreciated that whole scope of how I brought it to you guys. I told you, when there's a time to be joking around, doing the ha-ha, I'm definitely all there. But that match, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman again for the WWE, what is it, the Universal title, I think it is. Yeah, they're going to be getting it on at the Payback pay-per-view. It's going to be a no-holds-barred match. We already told you Keith Lee's going to be taking on Randy Orton. There's also going to be another match for the United States Championship. This go around, Apollo Crews is going to be defending it against Bobby Lashley. Bobby! Also, nice development that went down tonight. Bayley and Sasha Banks, they are going to be teaming up. I can't believe this is actually happening because I remember mentioning this several weeks ago on the show. I said, the team of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, if they can get on the same page, that would be a very interesting team, very interesting alliance, because they're kind of similar in their own respective ways. And sure enough, based on everything that developed tonight on Raw, at the Payback pay-per-view, Bayley and Sasha Banks are going to be defending the women's tag titles against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So, safe to say, those titles are going to come up off of those girls for sure. So, let's set it up properly as far as how that all had went down tonight. So, basically, Bayley was in action, if I remember it right. Bayley was in action against Shayna Baszler. and Nia Jax was just watching on the side and everything. Now, before you ask, what the hell is Nia Jax doing there? She's supposed to be suspended. What the fuck? Well, she actually got reinstated because she apologized to the Sam Roberts 2.0 dude. And pretty much that's how she got reinstated, basically. So she's watching this match outside between Shayna Baszler, Bayley. It was a good match for what it was worth. Way too short, but for what it was worth, honestly, for me, looked like it had a lot of potential. Nia Jax interfered in that. She dragged out Shayna Baszler. Referee pretty much threw the match out after that. Those two girls, they were going at it. Okay. Still a continuation from the built-up few weeks of heat, animosity between these girls. Okay, yeah, we got it. Exactly, Gino. 1 week of a pay-per-view build. Yeah, or less than a week. Yeah. I don't understand this. And this is my challenge to the Dave Meltzers, the Fightful sites. I'm curious, because I've yet to see the report out there. Why are we doing these pay-per-views so close to one another? I mean, that makes no sense in a day and age right now where we're still being affected by the pandemic. Why are we being in this position as fans? Okay, this Sunday and then next Sunday. Why the rush? I don't get it. I'd like to understand a simple explanation for that. Hopefully we can get one. But as Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler were going at it, Sasha, Bayley, they loved what they saw. They were snickering and all that. And, well, sadly, Jax and Baszler, they both focused their attention on those girls. They're like, no, you're not supposed to be focused on that. Y'all supposed to be fighting each other. So they hold ass. Cameras caught up to Jax and Baszler later on in the night. And Jax basically said to Baszler, hey, you know, if you and me can get on the same page here, we can actually team up, take those tag titles away from those two brats. What do you say? You down? Baszler said, okay, you know what? I'll help you out, but in exchange, once we do what we need to do here, you just need to leave me alone. Jack said, all right, deal, as long as you follow my lead. There's a little push right there. Baszler comes right back, slaps the shit out of Nia, and it pretty much just ended like that. I gotta tell you, I like how this tag team has come about. I really am. That actually put a smile on my face, because this was something that I flirted around with here on the show many weeks back, and now it's coming to fruition. I like how things just come full circle here. I really do. So I'm actually looking forward to that. Mickie James, I like how, and I can't remember the interview that she gave it to, but there was an interview she gave where she talked about, hey, was my return to WWE, the match I had against Natty and everything, was it all I had hoped it would be? You know, considering I had been out for a year plus, you know, no, it wasn't, but, you know, that's just the nature of our business. I'm just happy to be back. I'm happy to contribute. But, I mean, she really took the high road on it and everything. So we saw the continuation with her. Leave it up to the writers to essentially capitalize on how many fans, including myself, were feeling with the returning Mickie James from last week. And they had Natty and Lana in the ring, you know, making fun of what happened with her last week and everything. And they mocked her so bad, Mickie James came out and beat the crap out of both of them, and look oh so sexy doing it too, man. Gave fucking Lana a nice, good, strong Mick kick or chick kick, whatever you want to call it, and good shit, good shit right there. But you know, look, when it's all said and done, this is Mickie James taking on Lana and Natty, so there's still a little bit of a handicap right here. What's the end game to this? Are we ultimately, I can't help but wonder, are we ultimately gonna see Mickie James maybe in a position where she reaches out to, I don't know, Lita? Does she maybe reach out to Tori Wilson? Does she maybe reach out to Michelle McCool? You know, is she gonna reach out to somebody from that era that she was respectfully in for so many years and was very successful in during that era? Is she going to reach out to somebody there? Or is this going to be a case where it's somebody younger on the roster that could definitely benefit from getting a little bit of a rub off here. You know, where are we going exactly? I would be so quick to say, well, maybe Bianca Belair, but Bianca Belair has really found her stride and groove being associated with Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. So, and I'm not sure if the writers and the bookers are, you know what, Riot Squad 2.0, you know, we kind of, hey, honestly, I hope that Rhea Ripley and or Shotzi Blackheart at some point could become incorporated with the Riot Squad, because I think that would be, I'm telling you, get fucking Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Rhea Ripley, Shotzi Blackheart. I even like the idea of Bianca Belair in there, I gotta be honest with you. Let them run roughshod as the new Riot Squad. Fucking do them like Valkyrie, if you guys remember Valkyrie. Man, I loved what Valkyrie was fucking doing on the Independents, man. That was great fucking times. Great fucking times. Y'all don't know anything about Valkyrie. Look that up when you get a chance. Allison Kay, April Hunter, Ivelisse Velez. There's another one I'm thinking of. Let me see if I can actually... I'm looking right at her face too. I got her picture on my wall. Her name's not, I'm drawing a blank right now, but yeah, that was a damn good fucking stable back in the day, man. Damn good fucking stable. But they could literally do those girls just like that. But there was a point I was getting ready to make too while I was talking about all of that. I was trying to figure out what it was. I guess I made my point when it's all said and done. I think I did honestly make my point when it's all said and done. All right, so later on in the night, there was another match that went down. It was another women's match. This one, let me actually look in my notes here, because I did take some notes here. This one had to do with Sasha Banks. I'm trying to see if I can remember who it was she had faced here. That's what it was. That's why I'm thinking about it. Actually, it was more than one women's match tonight. Zelina Vega and the Iconics. They took on Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair. That's my train of thought. That's where I was going initially. See, it pays to take your notes here. Okay matchup. Way too fucking short. Way too fucking short. That match had a lot of fucking potential. That match had a lot of fucking potential to be something great. This is what I don't understand. How do you have a match that's barely 3 minutes long and you have a 3-hour show that you need to fill, and yet this is what you do here? You give these girls, all these women that I just named that were part of this 6-woman tag match, capable of respectfully carrying their own fucking weight, and you have them out there for basically some 3 minutes and some change. Come on, man. Don't, WWE, come on. That was some bullshit right there. That was some straight up bullshit right there. There was another women's match, if I recall. Yes, I do. Asuka took on Sasha Banks. This was a Raw Women's Championship match. No, Asuka did not lose the title. She is still the champion here. And good match. It was actually a pretty good match. It's kind of funny because Sasha had yelled at Bayley to grab a chair, but Baszler was there to grab it. Because if I remember this match right, I think there were female lumberjacks or something of that nature. You guys got to forgive me, because at that point I was kind of running around. I was starting to prep for the show and everything. But when Baszler grabbed the chair and everything, pretty much denying Bayley, Asuka pretty much grabbed Sasha. I did see that part. Put her in the Asuka lock. Sasha Banks had tapped out. It's actually a pretty good match. Sasha looked to be extremely frustrated in the ring there. So now you can't help but wonder, okay, does this further plant the seeds there, right? Does this further plant the seeds of possibly, you can't help but wonder. You can't help but wonder. See, what else did we have here? We talked about the Rollins, Murphy, Dominic, Mysterio match, so we really don't need to go any further into that match. I said everything I needed to say with that match. Let's see what else. I'm just jumping around here. I know we had Raw Underground. I'll get to that in a hot little minute there. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that is worthy of. I gotta be honest, before anybody asks, I did see the Angel Garza Montez Ford match. Didn't particularly care for that. Did nothing for me. It did absolutely nothing for me. 24 championship match. R-Truth took on Akira Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander. 4-way match. I mean, this pretty much was... I didn't care. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to fake. I didn't give a damn about this. I pretty much was finishing doing dishes at that point. I was finishing up dishes at that point. Akira Tozawa, champion. Like who even had the title going into this? Like, it's just switched hands so many fucking times. It's kind of like, dude, I fucking lost track, man. Like, seriously, I lost track. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Other than that, that's really it. We did have Shane and them. They had Raw Underground. Really nothing. What do we talk about with Raw Underground? There was really nothing there. I mean, Bobby Lashley was whooping everybody's ass. Dolph Ziggler wanted him some. He miserably lost to fucking Lashley. Hurt Business is pretty much still running roughshod. You know, as I'll continue to say, man, look, we need to see Keanu Reeves' character from fucking Man of Tai Chi. And if you guys ever fucking saw that movie, you know exactly the character I'm talking about. But man, let me tell you something. If y'all have never seen Man of Tai Chi, check that out, especially if you love martial flicks. Man, I'm telling you, that was a pretty damn good movie, especially considering the fact that it was Keanu Reeves' official directorial debut. And he did pretty damn fucking good. It's from 2013. I remember I had fucking reviewed it, and I loved it. Danaka Mark is the character that he plays. He's the main antagonist in that film. I just keep waiting to see that character pop up on Raw fucking Underground, because that's literally all this shit that I'm watching right now with Raw Underground. That's exactly what it reminds me of, you know? It almost kind of, sometimes when I'm looking at Raw Underground, this is where it kind of still goes back to what's the incentive for me giving a damn about Raw Underground? Where's the incentive? It goes back to what I had talked about, if not last week, the week before, which is, why are these people fighting? And remember how I mentioned the TV show Highlander? We know the grand prize that everybody is fighting for. Well, what's the prize here? What's the motivation here? And I don't want to hear anything about a Raw Underground title. That's the last thing we need, is a title being... I don't want to... No. You know, I think, honestly, you're in a really unique position right here where you can tweak this in such fashion. I'll double down on this once again. Raw Underground should really be about showcasing people that have signed developmental deals to the WWE, and this is kind of their way of getting a little bit of camera time, seeing if they can make an impression. And I say eventually these wins, these losses, they count for something. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ of Latter-day Saint. Look at what they're doing over there with the TNT Championship and just their whole roster in general with each division, and how the win-loss records... You know, they've kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Could still use a little bit more cleaning up there, a little bit more tightening up, but at least their shit makes sense. You got to try to implement something like that into Raw Underground, and why the wins and losses matter, and, you know, what's this all about, essentially. And whether that's a cash purse prize of, you know, $125,000 and... you know, a contract to eventually pop up on SmackDown, NXT, Raw, or NXT UK, so be it. But you got to tweak it in that type of fashion. I would like to see it tweaked in such fashion, mixed in with my career mode, my player mode from like maybe NBA 2K or you know, some shit like that, or something from one of the classic WWE games. You got to incorporate all of that into one. I think if you kind of have that type of approach to it, this would be banging. This would be banging on so many levels. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But for me, I'm still just, okay. All right, this person got choked out. All right, well, it is what it is. But next, that's my whole deal. Seeing what you guys had to say about Raw for this week. Wow, interesting. So on Twitter, we got a split vote. Yeah, buddy, we got a split vote. 50% of you gave this week's Raw a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 50% of you gave it a thumbs down. Let's see what's going on with you guys on YouTube here. YouTube. Remember, you can go on YouTube, click on the Communities tab, and you can cast your vote that way. Almost, but we do have a winner so far. Votes are still pretty early there on YouTube. I'm seeing 40% gave Raw a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 60% gave it a thumbs down. So continue to vote. Continue to vote. I really didn't follow up. Gino, that's a good one, man. I'm just now seeing the fucking joint. Gino got this funny ass image here. When Keith Lee came out to a new theme song, he's got SpongeBob SquarePants getting ready to change the channel there on the remote. I'ma head out. Yeah, that fucking theme song, man. That joint was, what it kind of reminded me of? It almost kind of reminded me of, and those of you that know your R&B, your black music and all that, you'll know exactly the song I'm talking about. I'm a big fan of Frankie Beverly and Maze. I'm a big fan of them. Of course, one of my favorite songs, Before I Let You Go, and The Morning After. Those are my two favorite all-time songs from them. And I love how Before I Let You Go, I love just how that song first kicks off. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Especially my brothers and sisters out there. You know exactly what I'm talking about, how that song makes you feel when you first hear that joint. It's like, dun, 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 especially when you hear it on Friday. You get ready to go into the weekend. You ain't got to deal with the office. You ain't got to go into work. Weekend is totally fucking yours. Maybe you're going to kick on back. You're going to wash your car, right? You got nice shit planned because it ain't got nothing to do with work. You hear that fucking Before I Let Go song come on, go. Dun, 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 dun. You got Frankie Beverly coming in there. Whoa. Dun, dun, dun. And all the fucking guitar and the bass is just kicking. That drums is snaring and shit. And you're like, oh yeah. I remember, I can't think of the name of the artist right now, but y'all that know your music know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. I remember one night I was washing the dishes, and over here in the DMV, for our black music, like old school shit and all that, we got Magic 102.3 and 96.3 WHUR. So on this night, I had it on Magic 102.3. I had it on Magic 102.3. And the next thing you know, I'm doing the dishes and everything, and I hear, dun, 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 and I'm going, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, it's Maze, Frankie Beverly. All right, now, like, dun, dun, dun. And then this girl starts singing, and I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't Before I Let Go, this ain't Maze. Who the fuck is this broad? And I'm listening, and basically this broad had fucking sampled the instrumental. She pretty much sampled like the instrumental version, or at least the main hook, and she just basically looped it and built a fucking song off of that. Y'all know exactly the artist I'm talking about. If you know your fucking music, you know exactly the fucking artist I'm talking about. And I just remember listening to that shit, and I'm like, way to troll a motherfucker. I turned that shit off. I'm like, that's how I felt when I heard Keith Lee's new music. That's the point that I'm making. That's exactly how I felt. Just how you all probably felt when you were like, oh shit, Maze, Before I Let Go. You bobbing your head, you getting ready. The next thing you know, you hear that female sing, you're like, say what? Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's exactly how I felt with Keith Lee tonight, man. Like, that theme music, change that shit. Change that shit. Yes, that song was terrible. The ring attire, see, I gotta go back into my memory bank that ring attire looks very familiar. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I kind of got the impression he's worn that ring attire before. I don't want to say like NXT and ring debut, but it kind of seems like he fucking did that before with that particular attire. Nah, it wasn't Beyonce. It wasn't Beyonce. And I don't think it was Mary J. Blige that sung that fucking Before I Let Go. See, that's gonna bother my mind now, because it's like, who fucking, figure it out, guys. Y'all can figure it out. I appreciate it. But yeah, man, I was like, that's exactly how I felt when I was hearing that Keith Lee joint. Hey, I want to take this time out. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Hope you guys have been enjoying it so far tonight. So we've been going about almost an hour strong. If you have been enjoying the show, make sure you go out of your way, leave a thumbs up. It lets particularly the algorithm gods know, oh, hey, decent amount of people like this, and they will actually recommend it to other folks. So fucking check that out. Appreciate that. Hit the like, subscribe, all that good jazz. Good shit right there. And let's get into some Patreon shout outs. We got plenty more stuff we can talk about on the show, man. Especially if you saw the thumbnail. We got a good number of stuff that we can talk about. Like I said, it ain't gonna be a 2-hour show, but we still got a nice amount of stuff that we can talk about here on the show. Remember, patreon.com/RCWR show. Patreon members, I do appreciate y'all's patience, man. I know I had came down with the sickness a couple of weeks ago, and I pretty much was out of it. It's the basketball. I'm not making any excuses, but the NBA games, that's what's been fucking me up right now. So, my promise to you guys, I am going to be sitting down tonight going into tomorrow. Content is going to come you all's way. I got the NXT TakeOver joint done. I just got to mix it, upload it, that's it. And I think what I'm probably going to most likely end up doing, since I'm actually off, I got a couple of days off this week from work, so it's kind of been a blessing in disguise. I get to catch up around the house, do some yard work and, some other stuff and everything, take care of some personal errands and all that. So I'll actually be giving you guys the NXT TakeOver, and I'm also going to give you guys a new episode of Impact Showdown covering Impact Wrestling Fallout, because I know it's been a couple of weeks there. So look forward to that. That's definitely going to be a nice double dose I'm going to give to you guys. And for those of you that might be a little bit curious how I'm doing on the basketball, as it stands tonight, I'm 8 games behind. So I got 8 games on my DVR I got to catch up on. And I'll be in real time for sure. I know tonight, the dent I'm getting ready to make, I'll be in real time for sure. But patreon.com/RCWR show, you get access to audio, bonus video content, won't be able to find anywhere else. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Everything starts at just $5 a month. Shout out to Gino Morgan. Shout out to Justin Ripstock. Shout out to my buddy Sean Kenter. Shout out to Michael Wolf. Shout out to John Davis. Special shout out to Tony Bean Gaming. You want the latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Square Enix Avengers. That's getting ready to drop shortly after Labor Day. I believe it's going to be dropping on September the 4th. That's actually the same day that I believe the new NBA 2K21 is going to be dropping as well. September is the month, man. September is the month. But tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, reviews, man, he's got your hookup. He's on YouTube. He's got a Patreon paywall as well. Check him out. Yeah, appreciate all of our Patreon members. We'll get into some sponsor shout outs later on in the show. So we got a couple more little tidbits of news we can get into. Been kind of relatively quiet a little bit here and there. Man, I can't believe I almost forgot. We did see Mark Henry there. He had that little arm wrestling joint that Apollo Crews and Lashley was doing. That was kind of cute, right? Yeah, it is what it is. That was cute. What would have been more impactful? Man, if fucking, what's their name? Retribution? If they'd have fucking beat the holy shit out of Mark Henry. That would have been nice. I'd have loved it if we'd have seen him backstage and he was just giving a little bit of a pep talk to Cedric Alexander, a couple of other people, and we continue to follow him, and he's on his way to get into his car, and next thing you know, he gets jumped by Retribution. I'd have been down with that. That would have been cool. It is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, couple of little headlines here. So one thing I thought that was kind of interesting here. I did kind of allude to, we're going to switch it up. We're going to talk a little wrestling, and we got some non-wrestling. Right now, I want to talk a little bit of non-wrestling related stuff. In case you guys don't know, NBA news, 76ers, they decided that they were going to part ways with Brett Brown, who was the 76ers head coach. They fired his ass earlier today. They fired his ass. The 59-year-old, he had been the 76ers head coach from 2013 until now. And as far as career highlights and awards go, as a head coach, he was the NBL Australia champion. That goes back to 1994. And then he was the NBL Australia Coach of the Year of that same year, 1994. And then as far as in the NBA, as far as accomplishments go, assistant coach. He was a four-time NBA champion, 1999, 2003, 2005, and 2007. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, when you look at his tenure there from when he was with the 76ers, again, 2013 to 2020, this was pretty much his record. Remember, we get 82 games out of the season. So as far as his record goes, 2013-14 season, won 19 games. 2014, and by the way, that 2013-14 season, of which they only won 19 games, they missed the playoffs. No shit. The 2014-15 season, they only won 18 games. They missed the playoffs. 2015 to 2016 season, they only won 10 games. You heard me right, 10 games. Yeah, they missed the playoffs. You go to the 2016-17 season, they only won 28 games. Yeah, they missed the playoffs. 2017 to 2018 season. Actually, back up a second. 2015, 2016, I did say 10 wins, right? They missed the playoffs. 2016 to 2017, they won 28 games. They missed the playoffs. 2017 to 2018, they won 52 games. Okay, that's a little better. Lost in the conference semifinals. 2018 to 2019 season, 51 wins. Lost in the conference finals. And finally, the 2019 to 2020 season, 43 wins, lost in the first round. So, I mean, look, for the Philadelphia 76ers organization, that's a long time to be dedicated to somebody. You know, you gave them, honestly, for the organization, for upper management themselves, you know, Philly fans, look, hopefully you guys are not salty about this, but honestly, they stuck with this for as long as they possibly could. They gave this guy more than enough ample time to try to figure it all out and everything. Now, look, I know Ben Simmons, and look, let's not take anything away from the 76ers. For them to have fought as hard as they fought and were able to do what they were able to do in the bubble here, it was impressive. It was impressive. Lord only knows how things would have been drastically different if Ben Simmons would have been there and everything, but you know, that's an if. That's an if. But for management and the fact that they had the patience and the temperament to stick with this coach, but so long here, that shows dedication and loyalty on their part. But yeah, it's time to go in a different direction. Now, as far as, you know, if Brett Brown is going to be able to coach elsewhere, I don't really know about that, because that's not exactly a, you know, how do you build from that? How exactly do you build from that? You got me. I'd be shocked to see him get another job so quickly as a head coach, mind you. Maybe as far as an assistant coach goes, part of the assistant staff, I could definitely see something like that. But as far as being able to command another head coaching position, yeah, man, I'm just not seeing it. And speaking of which, I mean, look, this NBA season, there's a lot to be looking forward to going into the off season, particularly because when you just look at the amount of head coaches that's out there, that okay, these people are available. Look, we got some more coaches that's out right now. Alvin Gentry, New Orleans Pelicans, they cut ties with him just after 5 seasons. And what did he have to show for those 5 seasons? Just 1 trip to the playoffs. Hey, same deal, man, same deal. Clippers assistant coach Ty Lue and the Lakers assistant coach Jason Kidd, they're expected to be the prime candidates for the Pelicans coaching vacancy. Now, look, those are 2 excellent fucking coaches right there. With regards to Ty Lue, I know he personally had took some time away for health reasons and everything, and he looks to be in much better spirits now and everything. But honestly, for everything that had went down there in Cleveland, I honestly felt he got shafted wrongly. I honestly felt that way. I've always felt that way. I had no problem with the way he had coached. I mean, not to mention, look, and I've always been a big Ty Lue fan, because I go back with Ty Lue from his time with the Lakers there. I mean, here's a guy right there, 2-time NBA champion, first time All Big 12, second team All Big 12. As a coach, he was the NBA champion there, all-star game head coach as well and everything. For everything that he had fucking accomplished there, I kind of felt that his little trip there with the Cleveland Cavaliers, I just kind of personally felt he got shafted there. So for me to hear that he's going to be back in the mix of things, yeah, he definitely should be commanding a head coaching job somewhere. Jason Kidd, shit, man. Jason Kidd, that one was weird. That one was weird because where do you begin with Jason Kidd? His first opportunity as a coach came, back in 2013 with the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, that only lasted 1 season, and then he did about 4 years with the Milwaukee Bucks. And I personally felt that, what he was doing there with those respective teams, I thought he had did pretty damn good. Honestly, I thought he had did pretty damn good. Looking at his record there, I'm trying to see if I can come up here. So it looks like, think about this. He was named the Eastern Conference Coach of the Month for January. And then in April of 2014, he was named the Eastern Conference Coach of the Month for a second time for March. He became the 4th coach overall to win both Player of the Month and Coach of the Month honors. He also became the 2nd coach to win both honors with the same team. Everything culminates to the first round in the 2014 NBA playoffs. The Brooklyn Nets eliminated the Toronto Raptors in a 7-game series. Kidd is the 19th rookie head coach in the league's history to coach his team in a decisive Game 7 on the road and became the first one to win it. But of course, they got eliminated in the semifinals by the Miami Heat. And for whatever respected fucking reason, the fucking Nets decide, we're going to go in a different direction. Just kind of get you guys caught up to speed. It ain't long-winded, but basically, Milwaukee Bucks, they secured Jason Kidd's coaching rights from the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for 2 second-round draft picks in the 2015 and 2019 drafts. And this created a lot of controversy. It created a lot of controversy as it was reported that Kidd had been seeking more management power over the Nets general manager Billy King, and after being denied, began talks with the Bucks, even though they still had a head coach contract, basically under Larry Drew and all that. So, but then you look at what went down there with Kidd. As the coach and everything for the Milwaukee Bucks, they had a winning record. They qualified to the playoffs for the 2nd time in 3 years. Again, this is with the Bucks, with Kidd at the helm. You fucking had Kidd there. They had a 42-40 record first round of the playoffs against the Toronto Raptors. Bucks take a 2-1 lead after game 3, but went on to lose the series in 6 games. And then after that, he pretty much was fired. He pretty much was fired midway after taking the team to a 23-22 record midway through the 2017-18 season. I don't really think Milwaukee had truly gave Jason Kidd the proper resources that he needed, but most importantly, time and patience to figure it all out and fucking succeed. That's just my 2 cents from a distance. So Jason Kidd, here's another one right here where, okay, you tell me Jason Kidd and Ty Lue are available. Okay, yeah, let's fucking go there. Jim Boylen, Chicago Bulls, they fired him on August the 14th. Come on, 39-84 record, over a year plus there. Whatever. Honestly, I hope we never see him again. Mike Miller, Knicks, come on. Other coaches that are out. John Beelan for the Cavaliers. You also got Kenny Atkinson. Pretty much him and the Nets. They parted ways earlier this year, like right before the games kicked off, March 7th, with just 20 games remaining after Brooklyn most likely making its second straight appearance in the playoffs. Many reports surfaced as to why the two sides parted ways, with Atkinson reporting not liking the idea of coaching Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, I should say, next season, as well as Irving souring on Atkinson as the head coach. The Nets will conduct a new coaching search as a result. Honestly, from what I've been able to see so far of the Brooklyn Nets and the bubble and everything, what they've been able to do without Kyrie Irving and everything, is it Jock or is it Jaquan Vaughn? What he has been able to do with that team, they seem to click with him. They seem to resonate with him. Maybe that's because he is a former player and everything, but I don't know what it is. But what I was watching from that team under his leadership, they somehow managed to dig down deep and they were willing to go to that next level. Here they are. They don't have their star marquee players in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They're 1-2 punch essentially. And for what they were able to do there in the bubble there, postseason there, very admirable, very fucking impressive. So I think he should be rewarded, and I think, if anything, the organization, they should commit to this guy for at least 3 seasons and see what he can do. Just, okay, we're going to take the weight off of you. You got 3 years. Let's see what you can do. So hopefully they give him a run. If not, like I said, man, your guess is as good as mine as far as what could possibly happen next and everything. But they got some options, man. Some of those vacancies, not to mention, not for nothing, you still got the Van Gundys floating around. But the real question is, are they even going to be interested? Do they even want to put that fucking hat on once again and being an NBA coach? Do they even want to deal with that? You also got my man Mark Jackson. You gotta throw him into the mix. I think that's a real fucking travesty that here we are in 2020 and Mark Jackson has not gotten another opportunity to coach a team. That is just mind-boggling for me. Very fucking mind-boggling. I know a lot of people went above and beyond within recent weeks to put over Mark Jackson and everything. And of course, for the longest time, the argument has always been made, yeah, when you look at when the Golden State Warriors have finally won the championship, Steve Kerr was there at the helm and everything, but it was essentially Mark Jackson's blueprint. He's the one that basically, like, what the fuck? So there's always that debate. There's always that debate that's floating in the air there. And you can't help but wonder, well, shit, looks like Mark Jackson was fucking on to something. It almost kind of feels like Mark Jackson, to a certain degree, has been blackballed from the NBA. That's just my personal 2 cents from a distance, but he's definitely a name that I think many people should consider giving a call, and he would fit very well with a young team that. And when I say a young team, what I mean by a young team, I think for a coach like Mark Jackson, he would fit so well with a team that is trying to find its identity, trying to find its stride, and all that. And, okay, with this particular coach, all right, let's give you guys about 3, 4, 5 years. Like, for a team that's in a rebuilding process, basically, so to speak. Me personally, I think Mark Jackson would be a really good fit with the Charlotte Hornets. I think he would be a really good fit with the Charlotte Hornets. Now, what I'm not so sure about is how him and fucking Michael Jordan would click. That's the only thing I'm not really sure about right now, is how well the two of them would fucking click. But until I hear differently, I think they would click okay. They both got that strong temperament. They both try to do their respective parts and going above and beyond to succeed and everything. So, and you know what? I like that. I like that. Houston Rockets need to reach out to Mark Jackson, or Mike D'Antoni. Yeah, that would be good as well. That would definitely be good as well. Hey, shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. In case you guys had missed the news, Shaquille O'Neal has re-upped his deal with Turner Sports. You heard me right. Shaquille O'Neal, he's re-upped his deal with Turner Sports. It is described to be a multi-year deal. So Shaq ain't going nowhere for many years, folks. And that's great, because I like watching him on Inside, him and Ernie, Chuck, Kenny. Fucking awesome. I mean, they just gel so well together on that show. They gel so fucking well together. It's like chicken noodle soup for the soul every single time I watch those guys. It doesn't matter what's going on with me. I could be feeling exhausted from work. I could be feeling so damn tired, man. I gotta get some sleep, man, no matter what. Or I just could be having a bad fucking day. Man, when I put on Inside, it's almost like I'm sitting down and I'm at a bar, or maybe I'm at a barbecue, and it's like some old friends I ain't seen in a good minute, and we just sitting around talking shit about sports and all that. I just like the way those guys, they all gel so fucking well together. And I was a little bit on the fence at first when I first heard the news that Shaq was going to be coming. I'm going, I don't really know. I'm like, because I was so used at that point. I was still tripping over Magic Johnson. I still remember the years when Magic Johnson was there. So for me, it was kind of like, But then, once I saw Shaq, I was like, nah, he fits like a glove. He complements them extremely well. So I'm glad that they were able to work out this deal with him. Now, of course, as part of this deal, he's going to be appearing on NBA TV. And check this out. He's also going to be appearing on CNN. Now, before you guys go, whoa, Shaq going to be going political on us. Nah, he's just going to be doing special little things as a correspondent for them. So, like, take for instance, everybody does their own New Year's party show, NBC and all of that. Well, CNN's going to have its own little thing. And apparently, Shaq is going to be the MC for that event, right? I would also like to believe that we would probably most likely also see Shaq on CNN talking about what's going on with the Black Lives Movement and, its impact on sports. I could see him talking about things in that type of capacity, but that's pretty much the extent of it. I don't see him going all, well, in November, I don't see him doing any of that type of shit. Even if somebody like an Anderson Cooper, no matter his wits and charm, no matter how much he tries to press Shaq, I don't see Shaq caving in on talking stuff like that. I just don't. So, but I think that's honestly what you can expect to see from Shaq from time to time with regards to CNN. Also, Also, while we're talking about SHAQ, so once in a while, I like having a cheat meal. Yeah, I'm continuing to do pretty good, losing the weight and everything. Every 2 weeks, I'll have a cheat meal. So this past weekend, I say to the missus, "Hey, can we try the new SHAQ pizza?" And she goes, "If that's what you really want to do, hun, sure." Because I had been bringing it up to her for like about 3 days. So she goes, "Yeah, if that's what you really want to do, let's go ahead, let's do it." So, of course, we go to Papa John's and we get the SHAQ pizza. It's $12. $1 goes to the Papa John's Foundation so they can help out communities. All right, cool. So, pizza was real fucking hot in the box. Like, okay, smelled pretty good. So we're driving home. We can't wait to fucking get into this pizza pie. We get into this pizza pie. Why does shit taste like 7-Eleven pizza, but worse? I mean, at least 7-Eleven pizza is edible to a certain degree. But, it's like a grade lower than Little Caesars. But this joint tastes worse than 7-Eleven pizza. I wish I was exaggerating. The crust, you could barely taste the crust. The pepperoni, I don't know, man. You could hardly taste it. You tasted something kind of rubbery. You tasted something that apparently was meat, but whatever. When it came to the cheese, man, that cheese, man, I'm a sucker for my cheese on pizza. I like when that bitch stretches. It's like, okay, that's good cheese. This cheese was not stretching, folks. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that cheese. I don't even know if that was cheese, y'all. But fucking, that was not cheese. I don't know what the fuck that was. So after we got done eating it, we both said, yeah, this some weak sauce. This some weak ass pizza. And we put it in the fridge, and that was pretty much the end of it. So the next day, because I told my girl, I said, because I only had one slice of pizza. I only had one slice of pizza, and my girl had one slice of pizza. Because originally she was like, "Oh man, how many slices you putting in the microwave?" I'm like, "Only 2." She's like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, "Yeah," because I had some sushi on the side as well. So I was like, I'm just gonna have a slice. I'll do some sushi. So we both ate it, and we were like, the pizza. We were like, "Yeah, this weak." It's like, and I told my girl, I said, "Look, you going to work Monday, right?" She's like, "Yeah." I would take this pizza to work and leave it in the break room, and hopefully they'll tear it up. She's like, "Okay." So we go to Sunday. Dam's mom comes up and everything, and she's like, "I found pizza." And we both kind of snickered, like, you kind of set yourself up, dog. And so I see my girl later. I said, "So your mom tried the pizza?" And she's like, "Yeah." What'd she say about the pizza? It's like, she was extremely quiet about that pizza. I was like, "That's probably not a good thing." She's like, "Yeah, probably not." So my girl called herself having a slice of the pizza the next day, right? Because we got the pizza Saturday. So now we go into Sunday. So some point Sunday, she tried to have a slice of pizza. She said, "That pizza fucking tastes so fucking nasty." Next day. I said, "Really?" She doesn't like cold pizza. I love fucking cold pizza. For me, good sign of that's a good pizza pie is if you can just take that bitch cold, go, yum, and oh yeah, that shit banging. That's the sign that that's a damn good slice of pizza, and it's still gonna be pretty damn good when you get ready to put it in the oven and everything. So she goes, "Yeah, man, that thing was nasty." I said, "You got me curious now." She's like, No. She's like, it was so nasty next day. I had to hurry up and quickly eat something else. I spit it all out. I put it in the trash, and I had to eat something else. That's how nasty it was. It was a weird, nasty aftertaste. I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, but here's the kicker. When I was working at my other job, my market research job, our boss would order Papa John's pizza or Domino's all the time. And many times, because particularly they would have pizzas left over from the focus groups that they were having and everything. And so they would have the pizzas in the fridge, and they would bring it up the next day for us at the call center to eat and everything. And no problems with those pizzas, folks. That's what's really weird about this. That particular Papa John's that we went to, they had got rave reviews. The ratings on them, they were 4.5 out of 5 stars. And I think they had like about 75 to 80 people were leaving reviews for them. So that's pretty impressive, right? Like, you got almost 80 reviews and everybody is saying basically 4.5 out of 5. That's pretty good. So the location, presentation, everything was good, but the pizza pie itself was nasty as fuck. So out of curiosity, I'm like, okay, well, let's see if it passes my cold pizza taste test. I took one bite of that bitch. I bullshit you not, folks. I spit that son of a bitch out so fast, it wasn't even funny. I had to do like my girl. I had to go quickly put some other food in my mouth and get that fucking weird taste out. It was nasty as shit. True story. The rest of the pizza, which was like about, I think 5 or 6 slices, because I had one, my girl had one the day of, the mother-in-law had 2 slices, my girl tried to go for a slice, but upon eating it, she just tossed that whole thing. So I think there was like about maybe 5 slices left. I took that son of a bitch in the box. Man, I put that bitch in the trash. I bullshit you not. Tammy will tell you, I put that bitch in the trash. I did not give a fuck. And we were joking about it. I told her, I said, man, this is an insult to homeless people. It's like, I wouldn't even give this to a homeless person. Like, that's a fucking insult to them. That's how bad the fucking shit was. So, SHAQ, I love you, dog. I love you tremendously. But your pizza is whacked. Your pizza is fucking whack, dog. You need to fucking tear that shit up from the floor up. Look, you need to holler at fucking Domino's. You need to fucking... Even CC's pizza has improved drastically. You know who else's pizza I've heard has improved drastically? They got like a new recipe and everything, and everybody loves it. I hear that fucking Chuck E. Cheese. I hear Chuck E. Cheese pizza is banging like a mofo these days. So it's kind of like, whoa, say what? So... I wouldn't mind seeing what's going on. But yeah, SHAQ, I love you, dog, but your pizza sucks, dog. I gotta be real with you. Your pizza fucking sucks. Your pizza fucking sucks. La Raza's is good. Okay, La Raza's is good. You know who else is good? Lido's. I don't know if you guys got Lido's in your area, but Lido's is good as well. For frozen food pizzas, Geno's East is fucking good. And that's the real kicker too. After I got done trashing that pizza, my girl said, man, you could have just put that Geno's East pizza that's in the freezer in the fucking oven, and we'd have been better off with that. I said, yeah, true that. But yeah, that was the worst. So I cannot recommend SHAQ's pizza. If you did not try SHAQ's Shaq-a-rooney pizza. Oh, one other thing I gotta mention with regards to SHAQ's pizza that you guys are gonna find really fucking hilarious. Alright, so you get this big ass fucking box. Right? I mean, it's almost like 2 Xbox Ones combined, basically. That's how big the fucking box is. But when you open that son of a bitch up, you know, because SHAQ is going, it's my biggest pizza pie, yeah. Yeah, my biggest pizza pie, yeah, bro. It's got plenty of good little one top pizza on there. Got a lot of pepperoni on it. Yeah, pepperoni all the way to the edge of the crust. It's my biggest pizza pie yet. And every dollar you give. So, you know, when you buy my pizza, $1 of that pizza go to the Papa John Foundation. Good, better ingredients, new day. You know, new head, black man in charge. Papa John's. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Biggest pizza yet, right? Okay. Pizza so big you can fold it. I'm like, okay, we can fold your pizza. You can fold my pizza. My pizza's so good. You eat my pizza. I'm telling you. Like Ernie, my pizza's so good you can fold it up like a kazone, and you can eat it. Like, that's how big my pizza is. My pizza's good. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. Man, this box all big and shit. You know, you see SHAQ's face and all that. Okay, you open that bitch up. Why the pizza is almost the size of a Tombstone pizza. Everybody at some point has gotten a Tombstone pizza. I bullshit you not. Now, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. Maybe it was slightly bigger than a Tombstone pizza, but you get the gist. You're like, okay, so basically it's about around that size. You're like, yeah, it's about that size. Wasn't nothing big about that fucking pizza. Wasn't nothing fucking big about that pizza.
My pizza's so big, you gotta fold it up. That's how big my pizza is. My pizza's so big, I'm telling you right now, my pizza's so big. Yeah, I'm not saying penis. I'm saying pizza, folks. My pizza's so big, you gotta fold it up. That's how big it is. You can't just eat it. You can't eat it with one hand because it falls all over the plate. No, you gotta take that pizza. You gotta fold it up. You gotta fold it up like an accordion. You gotta fold it up like a little piece of paper and put it in your mouth. That's how big the pizza is.
That pizza did not fold. That pizza didn't fold. You just like, it was just a regular fucking slice of pizza. I mean, it's just basically it's like, huh, boom, just like that. You're like, oh, okay. You know, it's about, maybe, I don't know, maybe they're just kind of trimming it up. You're like, oh, good, you know, whoopie-doo. It's a regular slice of pizza. Whoopie-doo. Lies! Fucking lies. That's all I have to say. Fucking lies. So don't get that pizza. Don't get that pizza. You'll thank me later. I did the dirty work, so you guys don't have to. You'll thank me later. All right, so on a interesting note here, we got, give me a second here. I got a couple of wrestling little tidbits here that I can share with you. Again, not much has gone down since last we were on the air. So we kind of got a new Sonya Deville update. It almost kinds of, Gino said, because it is a Tombstone pizza. Dun, dun, dun! Shocker. Remember we were talking about Sonya? Oh, that wasn't Gino. That was Gordon that said that. My bad. Or was it Gino? No, that was Gordon that said that. Because it is a Tombstone pizza. So remember we were talking about Sonya Deville last night and just basically saying, hey, you know, no brainer that this was going to happen with her, that she was going to be taking some time away and everything. You know, no brainer. So Dave Meltzer chimed in and everything, and he noted that. So remember, I asked you guys, wasn't it supposed to be a hair versus hair match? And nobody, it was weird because nobody had replied in the chat that, yeah, it was. I don't know if you guys maybe just, you didn't watch programming, so you were kind of out of the loop. I'm sure if you guys knew, you would have said something. But in fact, yes, it was, in fact, supposed to be a hair versus hair match. But it had changed and everything. So Dave Meltzer did some digging around. And what he was able to find out why that match stipulation changed to Luger leaves WWE and everything was because Sonya Deville's lawyer said that she shouldn't be shaving her head before the trial against the man that tried to kidnap her. And one of the reasons was because the man that, you know, ultimately wanted to kill her and everything, one of the reasons why he wanted to do physical harm to her was because of the hair versus hair match and how he did not want her to lose her hair. And reportedly, Deville has other projects she's interested in, and she's going to be focusing on those until it's pretty much time for her to return to WWE. And on an interesting note, and a SummerSlam exclusive, now this we did not cover on the SummerSlam post show, but in an exclusive online, Sonya Deville had very few words to say following her loss against Mandy Rose in the Loser Leaves WWE, as a reporter had called up to her and was like, Sonya, you know, what do you have to say as regards to this match and everything? And one interesting quote, it was pretty much the only thing that she said in this video. She said, "Do not call me that ever again. Again, do not call me that ever again." And she pushed the camera to the side. So, other than that, there was one other tweet that she put out. It just said goodbye. She did wish Vince McMahon a happy birthday and thanked him for everything. And so, I'm really under the impression, you know, I don't think Sonya Deville was so shaken up by everything that went down with this stalker that she no longer wants to be a pro wrestler. This is the type of stuff, sadly, that's the territory that you're in when you're in that respected profession that she's in. And let's not also forget, she was in the world of MMA. So in some shape or form, you may deal with this at some point. So I think she's mentally a lot tougher than that and everything. I don't look at this, and I don't want people overanalyzing and looking at this as, man, did this creep really get the best of her, and is she essentially gone permanently now from the WWE? I don't think so. I just believe that with the trial that's going to be coming up for this fucking guy, and then not to mention there were some outside projects. I now remember kind of talking about some of those things. One of those things she was interested in, but we now know that there is a new Batwoman now, but she was interested in trying to see about being cast as the new Batwoman. She did say that there was a few projects that she had going on and everything. So I just think that with the timing of everything, and then not to mention, not for nothing, but Sonya Deville was also a good steady hand during this whole pandemic. Quietly, mind you, she was a good steady hand when people needed to step up at a crucial time for the company. Sonya Deville was definitely one of those people, very consistent, especially with her attendance on the shows and all that. So I think that when we do see her return to the WWE, she will be back. She will definitely be back. She just will not be back as this character. I don't know if she will be back under her own name. Your guess is as good as mine. But she'll be back. She'll definitely be back. Rest assured of that. The stalker did not get the best of her. I don't want you guys thinking that. If I felt differently, I would definitely speak on it. All right. And a couple other little tidbits here. Heads up, Jerry Lawler had recently revealed on social media that he recorded a new episode of Broken Skull Sessions with Steve Austin, and that it should be appearing on the WWE Network in the next couple of weeks. Whether that means maybe after WWE Payback this Sunday, that remains to be seen. It really kind of depends, right? I'm actually looking forward to watching that. No bullshit. I'm actually looking forward to watching that. So that should actually be a pretty good little episode. One thing I want to home in on, I mean, really, other than that, nothing else really as far as wrestling headlines go. Like I said, it's been relatively quiet since last we were on the air. I did see DC Fandom, at least the key points that I wanted to see. And I gotta tell you, man, off the break, that trailer for The Batman, man, that was fucking impressive. And you know what? Speaking of which, I don't think I have. Yes, I still have it, luckily. I had saved it. I'll share it on my social media feeds, but at one point I had tweeted about the trailer, and my tweet actually had appeared live on the DC Fandom site, and I just was lucky enough to take a screenshot of it and everything. It was fucking badass, but I gotta tell you, I was a bit on the fence. I really, really was, but when I was reading that Matt Reeves wanted to bring about a investigative type of Batman into his version. He's like, we've seen all these, great different incarnations of Batman, but we've never seen the investigative side of Batman. And that for him was something he really wanted to explore. I kind of felt, okay, this guy, I don't know if he was maybe inspired by the Telltale games or whatever, but okay, I kind of like this, but I was still on the fence. But after looking at that trailer, God, that thing looks like it's going to be a fucking masterpiece. I can't wait for that fucking movie. I mean, everything in 2021, man, it's like, man, can we just, because 2020 was a really rough year anyway, can we just fucking take a sleep aid, like from the Tim and Eric awesome show, great job episode? And I think it was Tim that fucking took the sleep aid and he fucking overslept. Remember that episode? I want to take something similar like that, but wake up on time. I just want to wake up the day of the fucking theatrical release for that movie. Honestly, that trailer was fucking kick-ass. It was kick-ass. What's the kid's name? That's the new Batman. Robert Patterson, I think is his name. He looks good. As Batman, he fucking looks good. I fucking love it. Pattinson, not Patterson. Pattinson. He looks fucking good. He fucking looks good. I can't wait. I love the early vibes I'm getting of this Riddler. That's the main antagonist here. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a slam dunk fucking hit. I can't wait for it. I seriously cannot wait for it. You don't want to know a real fucking kicker? I remember when my girl bought it for me too. I still have not seen Joker. I kid you not. I have still not seen Joker. I've heard so many great things about it. I still have not seen Joker. My girl knows how much of a big fan I am of just the Joker character in general, but how I'm also a big fan of Joaquin Phoenix. And she actually bought it for me on DVD the week that it was released on DVD. I still got it in shrink wrap. So with these couple of days that I have off, hopefully I'll be able to, sit down in between the playoffs and all that, and I'll be able to actually watch it and everything. But was very impressed with that. Also, some other key things. Batman Gotham Knights game that was announced looks pretty impressive. WB Montreal's Batman game Gotham Knights, that was officially revealed. So it looks like they are kind of following up on what had went down in the event of Batman Arkham Knight. And if you guys have not played that game yet, why not? Great fucking game. So you're not going to be playing as Batman in this one, as Batman is reportedly dead. Instead, you're going to be controlling Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Red Hood. And it's going to be, by the looks of it, it's going to be a solo campaign, but it also looks like there's going to be a 2-player multi-online campaign as well. I saw the footage for the gameplay footage. Looks very fucking impressive. Looking forward to playing that game. Looking much forward to playing that game. Each character unique in their own distinct way. Movesets, all of that fucking looks, it just looks fucking badass. We also got the Suicide Squad full cast reveal for James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Fucking awesome. Idris Elba is going to be playing Bloodsport. John Cena is Peacemaker. Nathan Fillion is TDK. Pete Davidson is Blackguard. And Michael Rooker is Sadin. And we still don't know which Suicide character. There's one other actor that's in. I can't think of her name right now. But we also had got a big reveal for the Suicide Squad video game. We didn't see gameplay footage, but now we kind of know, because remember we were hearing for the longest time that Rocksteady was working on a new game, and we were kind of under the impression, okay, well, is it going to be a follow-up to Arkham Knight maybe, or is Rocksteady, because it was rumored that Rocksteady was going to be doing something with Superman, so you're kind of like, okay, well, are we finally going to get the Superman game? Because now that they've tried their crack at Batman, are we maybe going to fucking see a Superman game? That would be fucking badass to tackle. And after all, when you look at particularly Arkham Knight, a lot of Superman and Easter eggs were in there and everything. So you're going, okay, well, maybe we're finally going to get a Superman game. Instead, it's the fucking Suicide Squad game. And, that looks pretty badass. Dave Bautista is fucking voicing the, I can't think of the fucking shark character, but he's voicing that character. So you're like, okay, oh wow, this is fucking badass. All of this, we gotta wait until 2021, people. Fucking driving me fucking crazy, man. We gotta wait till 2021 for all this shit. But it looks good. The Snyder Cut teasing his version of Justice League. I'm color me curious, but I need to see a lot more. I kind of liked what I was seeing with Darkseid. Or Darkseid. I've always called him Darkseid, but maybe it is Darkseid. But it looks impressive. I kind of have that. I kind of have that Richard Donner Superman 2 vibe. I gotta say that's the kind of vibe I kind of have, honestly. So it looks okay, but I gotta see more. I gotta see fucking more. The Black Adam story details, the trailer, first image of The Rock as fucking Black Adam. That was fucking kick-ass. Love that. Let's see. Oh, and you know what? Let me back up a second. Suicide Squad from Rocksteady. That game is properly titled Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And actually, that game won't be coming out until 2022. I repeat, that game will not be coming out until 2022. However, with regards to the Batman Gotham Knights game, that will be coming out next year, respectfully. So 2022, we got to wait for that Suicide Squad game. We saw a little bit more stuff from Wonder Woman 1984. You know, it was okay. You know, it was okay. I actually sit down and just watch that movie. I mean, that's something else I haven't watched yet either. I've yet to watch the Wonder Woman movie. You know, I've heard so much about it and everything, and after seeing Captain Marvel, it's okay, yeah, you know. I do want to, okay, I've seen Captain Marvel. Now let's see what went down with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is another one that I haven't seen yet. So I got two things hopefully I can kind of pump out the way this week. Let's see, what else? I did see the joint with Neil Gaiman, creator of Sandman. It was great seeing him talk with Yvette Nicole Brown, who is just a mega fan, fellow comic nerd, movie nerd, you know, loves all things Walking Dead. It was great seeing her. Was it her that did the interview with Neil Gaiman? I'm trying to think. I think it was her that did the interview. It's a fuzz now, because I remember when I was watching it, I was having a couple of drinks late at night when I was watching the DC fandom thing. So, but that was kind of cool. So nice badass hearing that there's going to be a Sandman series or something that's in development that's going to be coming to Netflix in the near future. So that was pretty awesome to hear. I remember collecting those comics back in the day, and man, it's hard to believe that like 30 years later, like it's still pretty fucking popular. Other than that, I'm just trying to think as far as like what else had came from DC fandom that caught my eye, because there really wasn't that much I had homed in on, but just the notes that I had took, those were really the biggest announcements. Shazam 2, I gotta say, that gave me a little bit of a chuckle, because apparently Sinbad, the comedian, he's going to be in Shazam 2. And that was pretty hilarious how they went about revealing but not revealing, because Zachary Levi was like, okay, I was told, you know, we can't tell you anything about Shazam, which is kind of challenging because we're here to kind of talk about Shazam here at DC Fandom, but we can't exactly talk about the Shazam sequel. So it was really quirky and funny how they had went about that. I had enjoyed that. I'm pretty pumped for that. I'm definitely pretty pumped for that. But those were really it. I don't know if anybody else had saw DC Fandom, but those were really the main takeaways that I had saw. If there's something I'm kind of over missing, you guys gotta forgive me, because, you know, I know that thing had operated for like 24 hours. I didn't watch every single fucking thing that came from it. My whole thing was, okay, this is what I'm kind of most interested in, and that's pretty much it. I'm done with that. With regards to Far Cry, I don't know anything about Far Cry. Like, for me right now, as far as the games that I'm into right now, honestly, when that Suicide Squad game drops, I'm definitely going to be checking that out. When the Suicide game, the Gotham Knights, when that drops, I'm going to be checking that out. Other than that, the NBA 2K21, I will be checking that out. Very seldom these days am I really finding myself getting into video games like that. Very, very, very seldom. Nowadays, I'm doing more reading. And if I'm not reading, then I'm kicking back and catching up on stuff on the DVR. So it's kind of hard for me these days to really just sit down. First of all, I just got to be in that zone. And it's seldom I get in that gaming zone. To each its own. But I'm finding as I get older, it's like I'm just going in different places. Perfect example. for years I had been meaning to pick up the book and read it. And of all the things to really inspire me to finally pick up the book and try to read it, was actually listening to Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless from last week when they did an episode of Undisputed. And at one point, they were talking about Malcolm X. And, of course, I love the Malcolm X movie from the early 90s starring Denzel Washington, one of my all-time favorite movies, right down to the point there was a question that was asked last week. Go, name your top 5 movies of all time. And Malcolm X was on the list for me. I never read Malcolm X's book as told to Alex Haley. Alex Haley is somebody y'all should know very well. He's responsible for Roots. And it was refreshing and revigorating to hear Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, but more so Skip Bayless, to put over that Malcolm X book. And it ultimately led me to going on Amazon, looking up the reviews for it, seeing that President Obama he gave his own little review and pretty much was like, you all people need to read this. Basically, it's like, okay, it's got the former president's seal of approval. It's like, okay, you can't go wrong there. And so I said, you know what? Like, this is something that I've been meaning to read for years, and I've yet to read it. What the hell? I got it for a good deal. I got a brand new copy. I'll be getting it Tuesday afternoon. $5. Just $5. So, yeah, I've been getting into all kinds of interesting things when it comes to reading. So, I've also got the joint on Trump. What's that? I think by his, who wrote that book? Was it his sister or his niece or something like that? Mary Trump? Somebody had wrote the book. I'm about to start reading that. I haven't picked it up yet, but I bought it, but I haven't read it yet. So, yeah, if it's not reading I'm mainly getting into these days, then, it's kicking back and catching up on some non-wrestling old school shows on the DVR. Each its own. All right, so as far as what's going to be coming up next, so Patreon members, you guys are going to be getting an all-new Impact Showdown. You guys are going to be getting a new NXT TakeOver. I'll be finally sitting down, uploading that for you guys, so enjoy that. And then I'm going to say, since I'm off Friday, kind of following up on what I had said on Saturday's show, you guys are going to get a Friday afternoon RCWR show. We'll talk about NXT and some other stuff that went down headline-wise. Hopefully, we'll have a lot more wrestling-related stuff that we can get into on the show. But in the meantime, be kind of rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you may listen to your favorite podcast, because we're on that platform, without a doubt. Shout out to our sponsors. Love our sponsors. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR Show. Remember, leave the thumbs up. You enjoy the content. Subscribe, share, heart, all that good stuff. It helps out tremendously. Lets other people, hey, I need some cool content to check out. Lets those algorithm gods know, okay, this was good. Hey, we recommend you check this out because a lot of people had enjoyed this. All right? And that's going to do it. Appreciate everybody that was interacting live tonight. Appreciate those of you that's going to be checking this out on demand and on the downloads. I'll pump this out on the downloads as quickly as possible. I'm going to get right to work on it right now. But until next go round, good kind people, I'm wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. We'll do this again very shortly. Ta-ta for now. Take care.